good? My name is Amin Payne, aka Taimori, and I'm here for another episode of Let's Make It Beat with our Store DJ family. Today is episode 7, and it's featuring Akai's newest member, which is the MPC Sample. And today we're going to be making a sample-based beat using all the ways that you can sample using this device, such as a line input. We're going to scratch on the turntable. We're going to sample from our phone, add some percussions using the shaker and the internal mic, and I'll even add some synths and such using a synth app. So we'll get straight into it. Okay, cool. So we have on bank A, all the drum sounds that come within the internal MPC, the sound banks. So I've got my kicks, snare, hi-hat, open hi-hat, sound effects, snare roll, and such, but we don't have a sample to flip. So we're going to sample using our phone. We're going to do that simply by connecting it via the USB-C cable. And to do that, you just press sample record, and it takes you to the sampling options. So this is where you choose your input. I'm going to go to USB. And today's sample, I'm going to be using Who Can I Run To by the Jones Girls. To sample, we just press record sample, and it takes us to the record. I'm just going to put it on free so we can have as much as we want. And I'm going to press a pad and press record. That's all I wanted. And I'm actually using it from, I want it to chop up the sample so it starts a bit later. So we'll go to the trim pad here. Cool, that's the end start, and I'll just get the end as well so that it's like a perfect loop. Perfect. So now that I've chopped the beginning and the end, I can just simply press Shift Trim Sample. Trims your sample from the beginning to the end mark. And now we have a sample. So first thing you do is you come to the sequence tab and press an empty pad. So I've got pad A, so sequence A. Let's set the BPM to 93. You can either hold this button or hold the tap tempo button to adjust the BPM. And let's make it 4 bars. So that's a 4-bar sequence ready to be recorded. So we just go back to our sample, press chop. It's on the 16 region chop function so that we can just go ahead and record it. So let's get into it. Easy. All right, cool. Now that our chops are done, we're just going to add the drums. I'm going to start with this percussion sample and then add the kick, snare, and so forth. So. Let's use the swing on this. I've got a quantize, but we can use the MPC swing. So let's see. Sweet. I just want to add these extra claps, snare roll, and this crash as well. So let's do that. Beautiful, done. Now, we're gonna move on to bass, and using this one shot and 16-bit, I'm gonna do the bass. But first thing I'm gonna do is there's already a bit of a bass on the original sample. So we're just going to go back to the original sample and filter out the low end. So how to do that is simple. Go to the sample, hit the filter tab. We're going to go to a high pass filter and just bring it around, I guess. There you go, around here. So the bass is gone now. So using the 16 level, which is the chromatic thing, it basically turns one shot into a melody, so you can play it on top. So now that we have our drums and samples, let's move on to the bass. Done. That was the bass, nice and easy. Okay, so the second sample I wanted to do is like a vocal segment of the song that comes up, and we will sort that out. Cool. And here's our sample. Let's adjust the end, start and end, sorry. Sweet, that's the start. The end is here, which I think... Beautiful, just over here. So now we can press Shift Trim, just like last time, and now we have... Same thing, let's go to Filter, High Pass Filter, and we'll just cut off as much. And then same thing, if I go to chop, automatically it gives me the chop option. It's on threshold, but if we go to 16, because it's a perfect loop, so now I can add to the beat. Wicked. So I guess the next segment is to add some scratching. So to do that, there's a really cool way, because the recording function gives you free or sequence. Now you can capture perfect loops thanks to that option. So I'll show you what I mean. So to record the scratching, while the beat's playing, I could just record it on top. So we'll just select the empty pad while it's playing. So that recorded that sample. No, you're out of the frame. Yo, you know it don't stop. Beautiful. So that's a perfect loop. So if we just put that on top of the beat, like on the first bar, that should be in time. So all we got to do is press play. We have scratching, bass, drums, and samples all done. I guess I can move on to using the internal mic to add the percussion. So this shaker. So to do that, it's an internal condenser mic, so it's quite sensitive. I'm gonna have to bring the volume down. Go back to record. Make sure we're on mic. Turn this down. Press play, choose an empty pad, and press record. There's our shaker. Same thing. Let's go to the filter and take out some of the bass. Done. And you can just adjust the volume on top. Same thing. Let's press record and add it to the first bar, and it'll be on top. cool thing about this fader here is you can use it to adjust volume or anything such as panning, tuning, whatever you want by holding Shift Fader, and then you have all these options to go from. Another cool thing about this, which we'll get into later, is there's pad effects and then knob effects, as well as the flex beat, which gave you quick access to effects. So for example, if we go to pad effects, each of these pads become a dedicated effects that's indicated by, you know, the label. So while the beat's playing, I can apply these effects live. So for example, so that's pretty cool. And then the beat flex is kind of like a turntable plugin where it does scratching and beat repeats, which we'll get into that. But it's a super easy to use device, as you can see. Now we can move on to, now that we've used everything, internal mic, USB, and the line in, but now I can use my iPhone again to add some synth by going back into record and putting it on USB. I can adjust like the volume obviously after. So let's record this in. I just need an empty pad and I'm going to use this one here. So it's recorded that. Let's adjust the volume. So it's... It sounds a bit busy right now because I'm keeping everything in one sequence, but we're going to quickly move things to a different sequence so we can kind of arrange the track, you know, take out elements and such. I just want to add one more sound from this. So that we can add that in. So yeah, we have a sequence here that we can just copy across other pads, like copy the sequence, but then remove elements to kind of create an arrangement. So that's got everything in it, so it's a bit busy. So what I'm going to do is go Shift, Erase, which is copy, and then move into another pad, and we do it again to these 4. So we essentially have like 4 parts. So for the first one, let's say that's the intro, I want to take out the drums, the bass, everything, but the melody. So it's simple. We just go to your sequence, come back here, you go to Step Edit by holding Shift Sequence. And now, if I hold Erase, whatever pad I press, it will delete the MIDI data or the event data within that pad. So I only want the sample, so I don't want the bass, I don't want the drums and all that. So I'll just simply go goodbye, kick, snare, hi-hat, percussion loop, shaker, bass. And let's see. Let's keep the scratching. Let's keep it in. Why not? And then I can actually add some, I've got some sound effects here that I want to add. So let's actually add that into, so this is now essentially the intro sequence. Cool, so that's the sequence done. And then we go back to our sequence 2. So that should have everything. Let's say I don't want that vocal sample in this one. So we go back to our thing and the vocal sample is here. So I'm just going to go to Shift, Step Sequence, Erase this one. So now it should be everything but the vocal sample. Cool. And then move on to the next sequence. So yeah, let's do this. This is the beat that we made today. I'm gonna trigger the sequences live while we play with the beat pad effects. So here we go. yo, this thing is a beast. It's battery operated, has internal mic, multiple sample compatibilities. It's got 2 gig of RAM, bunch of 2 gigs worth of samples in here, and they're high quality. As you can see, it's super intuitive. Every button has its labeled function and secondary function underneath. So, and it has a built-in speaker. Highly recommended for people that are trying to get into. I've never used MPC before. This is definitely the best way to start. Or if you want to kind of go back to the fundamentals of beat making, this is definitely a great device. I highly recommend it. Well, that was fun. Thanks again to Store DJ for having me. You can get this bad boy, the MPC Sample, from your local Store DJs. Catch you next time.